Hello, everybody. I know you may be thinking, Reggie, a podcast? That's right, just when you thought you heard it all, literally. I'm here with a new series of candid moments, youthful knowledge, hard truths, fear facers, and of course, honey, a good laugh. Join me now as we head into the Reggie Segments podcast, right here on YouTube. All right, hello everybody out there in virtual land. Welcome back to the Reggie Segment Podcast. This is another wonderful episode of Reggie and Friends Podcast. I'm so glad for you guys to be here once again. I don't know where you're listening, whether it's on Spotify or whether it's on YouTube or on iTunes. Welcome, 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 welcome. It is a beautiful day where we are, isn't it, ladies?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes it is. It's hot. It's hot. In November. This is crazy.
Reggie, it's cold outside. The sun is just out.
Well, I mean, it's it's hot on the inside. Today we will be talking about progression. That is the topic for today's podcast. And I have two friends of mine. I have my very good friend Deja. Say hi to the people, Deja.
What's poppin', people?
And I have my good friend Kristen. Hey, Kristen.
What's up?
So how y'all feel today, for real?
Tired.
Oh wow, I'm tired. I feel like I should have felt like I should have been harmonizing or something. Tired. That's okay. I'm not too tired. As y'all know, I
Lucky.
had a good night's rest.
I didn't.
Ew.
I'm sorry, because y'all was still sleeping in them college beds.
First of all,
Your bed isn't any bigger.
I ain't sleeping
college
in my
bed.
That's the gig. I ain't sleeping in my bed.
I brought a college bed to my apartment.
I was about to say, she got a whole queen size bed.
You got a queen? And you still ain't
College
sleep
bed.
good?
No, because I went to sleep late and got up early.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just didn't get enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it was for me, too.
Okay, I understand that. Sometimes it be like that. That's why you gotta have that fan on sometimes. Get that breeze going. I be sweating. I be sweating, y'all. I'm skinny, but I be sweating. This bag of sticks be sweating. You hear what I tell you?
Bag of sticks? You ever heard that one?
That's
I always call him a bag of sticks.
Look at see.
I ain't never heard that one.
Well,
I told him he built like a bag of pretzel sticks.
Not pretzel sticks.
Am I Snyder's or my Utz?
Snyder's.
Oh, okay. Woo! Hallelujah!
That's his very low budget.
Thank you. Hallelujah.
At least the pretzels are.
I want to be Snyder's because Snyder's got a little thick to it. Got a little thick.
Yeah, you just barely got a little thick to you.
Oh,
You
wow.
know what? I will not take this disrespect. But you guys, without further ado, we're going to get into the podcast.
Can we talk about it? Let's talk about it.
So like I said, today's on progression, okay? And the definition of progression is, it says, it's a noun, and it's the process of developing or moving gradually towards a more advanced state. Another definition could be a succession or a series, you guys. So, you know, in today's society, progression can be viewed differently than it was back then. You know, maybe moving forward was like how me and Deja were just talking about yesterday, the American dream and stuff. You know, you come here and you get your little house in the suburbs and you over there in Buckhead and Alpharetta and stuff, you know, over there. And you go to DeKalb County and all that stuff and, you know, all that stuff. And you go and you shop at Macy's and all that stuff. But is that really progression today? Because a lot of people now in this society, you know, have college loans, they have debt they have to pay off. So it's like maybe they're not having the lifestyle of the quote unquote American dream. You see what I'm saying? Where they have their car and their kids and stuff. They can't afford it. So it's like, does that mean that they're not progressing? Or, you know, how does that definition change from then to now? I want to hear somebody.
I think that it's not that people aren't progressing. I just feel as though the way society is set up, it's not allowing them to progress.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yes, because like I said earlier, when it was announced that Joe Biden is trying to come up with a plan to help people get their first homes. Mm-hmm. For centuries, it's been, well, not for centuries, but probably for like the last 100 years, it's been time. Like, you know, white people have been able to progress and get loans and all this other stuff and build lives for themselves and for their families and have this generational wealth come in. being able to live in wealthier neighborhoods,
Yeah.
being able to go to good colleges, which is why, like, me personally, whenever I hear some, like, an older white couple be like, oh yeah, my grandkids got accepted to Stanford and Harvard, I'm like, and like, that sounds bad. It sounds bad, but it's like, it's been done before. Like, it's just so normal now that it doesn't even faze me. But whenever I hear like somebody black say like, oh, like, we moved into this nice house in the suburbs, and you know, like, my kids got accepted to Harvard and Stanford and all these like Ivy League schools, it's a really big thing, because society is literally like stopping them in their tracks and only letting them go to a certain level, and not giving people an opportunity to really progress in life and make a better place for themselves. And even when they do try to progress and make something good of the little bit that they have, society just kind of comes in and gentrifies it and basically says like, well, you gotta figure out where you're gonna go from here.
We know it all too well. Yeah,
so I just feel like it's not necessarily people aren't progressing, people are making those strides. It's just society sets a limit for how much progress they can actually have.
That's a good point.
Isn't that called redlining? That literally, I just tried to look it up because I couldn't remember what it was called, but
Did you
Deja
find
knew
a
what I was
definition?
talking
Let me
about.
look it up.
Yeah, go ahead and look it up because I forgot what it was called, but that's basically everything you just said. I learned about that over the little break we had. That really wasn't supposed to be a break.
Over the panty break?
Yeah.
Over the pandemic break?
Yeah. My dad had taught me and my sisters about it, and I was like, why have I never heard of this? But this is so true.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally everything Deja just said.
And it says online, redlining. It's spelled red and actually lining. It says is a discriminatory practice that puts service, and it has parentheses, financial and otherwise, out of reach for residents of certain areas based on race or ethnicity. Notably, the policy of redlining is felt the most by residents of minority neighborhoods. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. I wonder if there's like an actual red. Well, I see a lot of red on this map they got. Hopefully I can put it on the screen. But I guess that's why they say redlining. Wow. Because, you know, they said I got white coat syndrome, where my blood pressure get high when I go to the doctors. And I said, why y'all call it white coat? They say, when people see the doctors in their white coats, their blood pressure get high. So I wonder if that's what redlining. I'm going to have to do some more research. If you have time, people who are listening, look up redlining. You know, educate yourself on that. Because sometimes we might be redlining people. We don't even know we redlining them ourselves, you know? Now, progression, as far as this country and as far as politics and stuff like that, you know, we just had an election, you know, we're not going to really, you know, say a lot about our opinions about it, but I want to go deep into the part of, now that we have a new president-elect, now that we have a new vice president-elect, you know, how do you think that the progress, because of course some people on the side of that new president-elect and that new vice president-elect shouldn't be in office, and then more people are on the side of they should, because of the progression that could happen. So I just want to know, like, you know, what are your points of view on how this country would progress with this new president-elect and this new vice president-elect, even if they don't have every quality that the American people may need?
I think that we just need to find our way back to equality.
Yeah.
Because the country has been so torn apart, and it's really sad. That's really sad. Like, I feel like there's no reason that none of that should have happened, but I think I'm going to ramble, but so I'm going to try not to, but I just think that we need to find our way back to equality and take those steps and like figure out how to work together again and have certain groups of people not feel like they are entitled and better than any other group of people, because I just think it's irky and it bothers me. Yeah. And I know for sure I'm not the only one, and I'm not even going to try to like throw no statistics in there, no numbers, no nothing. Like, I know I'm not the only one, so I'm going to ramble, so I'm just going to stop myself right there.
Hey, I agree with you. I agree. And if I could go first, Deja, I don't want to cut you off, because I see you thinking, girl. I know she got a lot. When Deja talk, y'all, she lays it down. Okay?
For real.
She lay it down like a rack of ribs on the grill. You know what I said?
No, for real.
So I'm going to go ahead before Deja, just in case she steal my thumb. But one thing that I've always said is, you know, we use, especially politicians, and y'all have heard me say this, we use them for their good qualities. And once we use them for their good qualities, you know, it's time for them to move on, because they're not perfect. They're not going to do everything that we want, especially not in their 4 years, 8 years. That's not enough time to get stuff done through Senate when you have checks and balances and everything like that. You can only reuse the red button every so often, and only stuff like that. So it's kind of like a job. If you're a quarterback, and not a quarterback, is it a quarterback? A linebacker. Is that the ones who run in football?
I don't know.
Linebackers protect. Quarterback is the one that throws the ball.
Okay, so who be running?
And that's the wide receivers.
Wide receiver. Thank you, Deja. Because she know about it. But if you are a wide receiver, you see what I'm saying? If you're a wide receiver,
Reggie,
I'm not
do you see what you saying?
Huh?
Do you see what you saying?
Do I see what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
Because I said she know about that?
It's okay.
I only know a little bit about it
No,
because my mom, that's it.
No, because she know about the men's. And she probably done had a couple of...
Unfortunately, I haven't had a football player.
Oh.
But we're not going to talk about that.
Girl, what was the name of the quarterback?
Which one?
The ones who run.
The quarterback, the linebackers, I believe, are the ones that are on the defensive line.
I'm looking for the ones who run.
That's the wide receivers.
Wide receivers.
Those are the ones that are running out catching the ball.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So if you are a wide receiver, for instance, Deja was talking about how she works at, what is the name of it, Texas Roadhouse? Mm-hmm. And you have people who run the food out and stuff. I'm not going to have, somebody who ain't good at running. I'm going to have a wide receiver to be running the food back and forth. I'm like, oh, you play football? Good. You can be running the food out. But I'm not going to have them in no other area if they're not good at that. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's what we have to look at in politics. It's kind of like once we use them for their good qualities, they stay in that area. But unfortunately, in politics, they have to move on. You know what I'm saying? We can't just keep them there all the time. So it's just like that with the president, I feel. And it's time to progress to the next level of finding that good quality in our new president and vice president-elect, that they can push our country a little forward. Because our past one, and I'm not just talking about the past one as in 45, was it? I'm not just talking about the past ones in 45. I'm talking about 44, 43, 42, 41, and so forth. They all had a quality that helped this country to move forward. Some moved us back a little bit, all depending on how long they were in and how things were happening. I know some moved us back a lot, but they were able to move us forward in some way or shape or form. And then once we use that quality of them moving forward, it's time for them to move out. That's just how I feel.
Oh, my turn now.
It's your turn.
How I see it in terms of progression, I know everybody's not necessarily excited about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris being in office because some people are like Kamala. I'm gonna get her name right. I promise I never do it on purpose.
Miss Harris.
Anytime I think of it, I always think back to the wrestler because I've been hearing his name a lot, Kamala. But
I've been saying Kamala.
Yo, you're horrible.
Go ahead.
Anywho's Kamala Harris. A lot of people see it as like, oh, they're gonna set us back. Y'all are so happy. When first of all, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but first of all, let's just let people be happy and celebrate.
Amen.
We've dealt with a nightmare the past 4 years with Trump.
Nightmare.
Couldn't even think of his name for a second.
Is that even the word?
Yeah, a nightmare would be the understatement, but it's just like you said, we bring our presidents in to get things done, and I feel like even with him and probably presidents before him, they've all had a specific agenda that really just helped progress one group. And with Trump, it felt as though he was really trying to help that one specific group, with it being white people. He was really pushing to get things passed on for them. In terms of Biden and Harris's progression in this office, I hope that they are able to, like Kristen said, bring the country back together. Amen. The fact that Trump was in office and basically made the country feel more divided. Now it's like, oh, instead of it being like, oh, we have differing opinions on this thing. Like, you feel as though capitalism is good. I feel like socialism is better. You might not agree with abortions. I might be all for it. Now it's just like, oh, it's Republicans versus everybody else. And he's just I feel like he's kind of turned that party upside down and just flipped it on its head, and it's going to forever be stained with that, when not all Republicans may agree with that. That man has also ruined red hats, by the way. Whoop. So I'm never going to be able to wear a red hat without having the side eye.
I keep seeing all these red hats, and one red hat said something like, I eat fried chicken. And they said, these hats ain't even giving what y'all said they supposed to be giving. I said, y'all better go ahead and quote Roland Ray.
No, but like, my point is, because like Chris said, I don't want to ramble, but like, I just hope that they're in office, and while they're in office, Joe really does hold his promises. Yeah. I hope that they're able to do things to improve all minority communities. I hope that they can break some sort of unity into the United States. I hope Biden really does hold on his promise of being the president for all, not just
Amen.
for his supporters, because that was one thing Trump really did. He was the president for his supporters.
Yeah.
Barely.
The fact that I can really sit here and say that I didn't have a president for the last 4 years, because I really didn't.
My president, Obama, has been on vacation, so
Obama has been on
I
vacation.
haven't had a president. I mean, because the president wasn't for me. I'm sorry, I completely just cut you off, and I'm so sorry. But my president was. I'm just say he was on vacation, and I'm calling him my president, as in my MY, capital M, capital Y, because we got the same birthday. But that's my birthday twin. But I'm gonna just say he was on vacation, because the president I don't even feel like he deserves that title, because I just been calling him Orange Peel, but he wasn't for me. What has he done for me?
That's
besides make me scared to go outside because of the color of my skin? I'm not a threat. I'm like the sweetest person. I mean, until you give me a reason to stop.
I'm about to say,
Until
because
you
the
give
way
me
she
a
was just
reason.
yelling, I'm just kidding.
I don't even yell. Look,
Yeah, she really don't yell.
she just yelled at me to talk louder in the mic. I
know.
don't even
I
talk
got to
that
do
loud.
so much editing and adjusting to
I
her
don't even
stuff.
talk that loud. But I feel like the only thing that he's really done, enough for me to want to pay attention to, was make me scared to go outside.
Yeah.
Like, I got to go to work. I have bills to pay. Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, that wasn't fair for any of us. Like, anybody whose skin is not white.
Yeah.
Or tan or orange. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Go ahead, Deja. I just cut you off. I'm sorry.
You did. I'm happy you brought it up. But like my whole point is just like, I understand that times are scary. Mm-hmm. We have a new president in office. We've seen time and time again people preach to, most specifically, the black community, because it really seems like the black vote is the most important vote. Mm-hmm. When we come out and show out, we get things done. So I really hope he does stick to his promises.
Amen.
I hope that people hold him accountable.
Yep.
I hope he was able to get something done in office, because like Reggie said, like, they have checks and balances, and the president can only do but so much.
Yeah.
People are always like, look at Obama, what did he really do? And it's like, he could only do but so much, because you had the same people in the Senate and in the House that weren't really allowing things to pass.
Exactly.
Like Mitch McConnell.
Oh, she calling names.
Yeah, him.
Did you add him, girl? Did you add him?
I added him.
Uh-oh.
But Mitch
So
McConnell,
you know it's real.
like,
Oh my.
he's like, how it seems is like he's a very avid Trump supporter. So if Biden is in office, let's hope he's not gonna be petty LaBelle and try to block everything he does. I hope he actually is all for progression. My big thing when you're in office is like, everybody, instead of pushing your own agenda, you should push what's best for the United States. And
That's
right now
right.
we have a lot of healing to do. We have a lot of unity to bring together, and we just need to move on past this and realize at the end of the day, we all bleed the same. We all eat the same. What makes us different is our skin colors, and that's really about it. And even then, we're still not all that different.
And
that's
our
so
hair
true.
texture.
And hey.
Yes, you got to make
Because
sure you
that's
put
the
that.
one.
Uh-oh.
Because some girls be getting box braids talking about it's a protective style and then their hair falls. Like, Samantha, it wasn't for you.
It was not to protect
Wasn't for
anything
you.
you got, okay? It wasn't for you. You can't have everything we got.
You can't.
And we don't want everything you have. So it's
And
not
we're
even like
throwing
we
shade
trying to
at
take
Samantha,
stuff.
but it's just the truth. And because I'm gonna have a Samantha who's listening to this.
Poor Samantha.
Poor Samantha, this ain't directed at you, sweetheart, but no, some people actually do feel like that. They're like, oh, it's supposed to be a protective style and anybody can have it. Like, it's not made for your hair. But then the argument turns into, well, you can wear our hairstyles. First of all, I'm not wearing no Kentucky bundles, okay? These did not come from the mountains of Caucasus. These came from Malaysia, Brazil, Indonesia.
Yep.
I don't want that Kentucky lace over there. You can keep it.
But one thing that you said, Kristen, was that you said something like he didn't make you. Obama was your president because he made you feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And Trump isn't your president because he didn't make you feel comfortable. And as a president of the United States, and then Deja said it, she hit on something I've always said. You have to look more. Yes, this country was quote unquote built on religion. You know what I'm saying? One nation under God and everything. But once we opened up the country to foreigners with different religions, then therefore you have to accommodate those people. You know, if the religion is harming them in some kind of way, then therefore, since the country is open to them, you cannot have that. And I'm not saying that religion is bad and all this stuff, but sometimes you have to look at it in the brighter scope of, I have to get rid of these doctrines and just keep the good qualities. You see what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of doctrines that put people down and say that people can't do certain things because of certain things. But then when you look at the grand scope of what, just saying this for an example of what God or Jesus stands for, and it's like stands for the love all people, try to do your best to coexist with people, and then he'll work out the rest in the end. You know what I'm saying? He'll work out the rest in the end. You just do your part. Sometimes we miss that part of doing our part, and then it ends up being to our demise. So that's just something, especially on progression. You got something, Deja? Go ahead.
I just want to touch on one quick thing that you just mentioned with religion, because we always have this conversation.
We always do.
Interested about it. I will say my biggest pet peeve about America when it comes to religion, and I feel like this is very prominent now in this day and age, especially since, what was it, like 2016, 2017, Trump literally had a Muslim ban just because people were Muslim.
Wow, yeah.
Which is, I feel like it's very dumb. But I hate when people say, like, America is a Christian land. Like this, like you're supposed to come over here. You're supposed to preach Christianity, and you're supposed to speak English and this, that, and the third. I feel like you just have to remind people in a sense, like America's nickname has been for a period of time the melting pot.
Amen.
We are supposed to come over here and celebrate everything and show that we have differences, but we can come together as a cohesive unit.
That's right.
Which kind of does come to go again with Kristen's point of we need to have unity.
That's right.
Because that's another thing people choose to have divide us. I feel like Christianity probably wasn't even a religion that the natives had when they were over here.
Definitely not.
That was something that the Spaniards came over here with and started preaching Christianity and just tried to make it everything for all. I feel as though once we begin to accept everybody's differences in terms of religion, that is when that unity will continue on. Because I don't mean to go on a tangent, but it just really bugs me sometimes when some people just like kind of preach Christianity to the point like this is the only religion that matters. You only have to praise God. There's nothing else. But like I told you, I feel as though it's just like everybody is praying to the same God in many different faces. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's pretty much all the same message, but told in different forms for different people to comprehend and understand.
That's right. Because when you look at it, I'm sorry to cut you off, but when you look at it, what do they say? You hear the argument about Jesus and everybody over there, and they say, no, Jesus was black. And it's like, no, Jesus is white. And it's like, no, how he gonna be in the Middle East and it's hot as heck over there? But then you talking about he was white, and technically he cannot because of the qualities of life that was. And I say that to say just what Deja said about we're praying to the same God, but it's in different ways. When this about Pangea and stuff, and we had to split up and we were no longer on one continent. Even when we were one big continent, I don't think we were all, just like the U.S. is in different time zones, I don't think we were all in the same time zone and the same place of the equator. So even then we had different places where it was hotter in one area and not in the other. So then when you hear religions say stuff like, things like, oh yeah, pray 5 times a day, go outside, turn towards the sun, sit in the mountain heat, and then that's where you do what you do. And then it's like you got people up in the Icelands, and it's like they praying to the same God, but they not going outside because it's cold as heck. They gonna freeze to death before they can pray to God.
Actually, Iceland is quite beautiful. It's Greenland.
I'm
that's
sorry,
cold.
Greenland. I said in the Icelands. Oh. I didn't mean Iceland.
I thought you said Iceland.
Yeah. Fun fact: Iceland is actually one of the most peaceful places on earth. I think it is the most peaceful. But I said that to say that it's like then you create these doctrines, and then that's where it comes into. It's like, well, we prayed to God this many times, and then you got people's opinions and stuff, and they're like, oh no, you're less holy because you do this. When in just actual reality, they had more advanced technology, so they went into a building. But it's like no, because we need to be outside. And then you start these fights, and then that's where I believe a lot of that stuff came into, where it's like we stopped thinking about we're praising the same God, and it just become a whole lot of, like I said, doctrines and feelings towards each other. And it's like, it's not about you. We always say in church all the time, it ain't about you. It's about God. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about you. It ain't about your feelings. It is literally about God wanting us to be kind to each other, be nice to each other, respect each other, love one another, and things of that nature. Coexist, because at the end of the day, everything that's good and perfect, we hear this all the time, comes from Jesus and comes from God. So if it's good and it's perfect, then therefore, then we need to take our feet out of it so it can stay good, because we ain't doing nothing but putting a whole lot of hell in it.
OMG, well would you look at that? I just got a custom alert saying that the Reggie segment just uploaded a new video.
Wow, how'd you do that?
Oh, it's easy. First, you hit the subscribe button, and then you click the bell on the side. That way you can be notified.
Oh, sweet. I can't wait to be the first viewer on his next video.
That's right. Just 2 easy steps help you never miss a beat when it comes to content posted on the Reggie segment. Only right here on YouTube. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm gonna add to that and to what Deja said because they kind of like they want it in the same. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So Deja said, what did you say? Hold on. I don't forgot.
I know it's so long.
I know what I was gonna say, but I forgot what she said to make me want to say that. Something about how the United States was to preach Christianity.
Yeah, the United States basically preached Christianity.
Don't say no more because I'm forget again.
You said where? That's what it was.
I'm saying I want to add on to that, but disagree. I'm gonna just say it because I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Go ahead.
We doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's wow. I really wish I remembered what I was gonna say when Deja was talking, but it's okay. It's okay.
Bring it back to it, Jesus.
The U.S. is all for preach Christianity, beat it into you, you know, basically, but they're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
How you, I mean, this is going to bring like all the gays and like all of that. How you going to preach Christianity? God don't just pick and choose who he loves.
Come on now.
It's not like, oh, I love you because your skin white and your hair is blonde. That's not what Jesus looked like. I'm just saying because there's no way. That does not even make sense. Mm-hmm. Like your geography, not geometry.
That's
geography.
Right. I don't like
used to always mix those up, but they go together. Like you can't have pale white skin. What in the world?
It's all right.
I'm trying. I'm tired. But you can't have pale white skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, and be
from that area.
It doesn't work like that. You would have had to have moved from Europe or something, or Greenland, and come down because there's no way. But anyways, I feel like they're trying to preach it wrong because you can't just pick and choose who you love. That's and right. Talk about preaching Christianity and God does this and God says that, but that's not what you're doing. So you look like a hypocrite because you talking about this and doing that. So
and then over and over again we see the examples in the Bible where Jesus didn't care about who, he didn't care that man was sitting out in the front and he couldn't see and he was a beggar. He didn't care that woman at the well had slept with everybody in town. Yep. Lord Jesus, I hope he don't care about people that slept with everybody in town, Lord. That's all I'm gonna say. But Jesus didn't care about that kind of stuff. He didn't care about when what the Smokey North will talk about in his song, where he was out there helping them. He was out there helping those people because they needed food, and they were like, "Oh, you can't go out there and pick food and get this on the Sabbath." And da. He was like, "No, these people have a need, and I'm here to meet their need. I'm here to help them. They need food, and they're gonna get food today. I don't care if it's Saturday, and and your doctrine says you can't rip paper on a Saturday and stuff like that. No, we're gonna rip some paper because they could be dead tomorrow, but I'm here to help them today so they can live to see tomorrow, so they see the grace and the mercy of God. So that's another thing. And it's just like we have to think about what WWJD, what would Jesus do? Amen. So the friend I was talking to, another friend, because it brings me back to progression in family life. And when y'all just think about that. Progression in family life. We know, especially in the black community, and this is not saying it doesn't happen in other communities at all, but we're just speaking from what we can speak from. In the black community, there are stigmas of, men having to act a certain way, women have to act a certain way, families can't do certain things, and, they have to be a certain way of life, because they're black and everything, and have to build some kind of image because people won't respect them any other way.
Yeah, that's irritating.
Exactly. So, and then it comes down to you have families that don't want to progress to hearing their kids talk, hearing their kids' opinions. You have families that don't want to do that. And you have families that still say things like, oh, I pay all of this, I pay all of that. You don't have a right to an opinion until you can pay this. It's like, but they're still a person, and they may. What does the Bible say? And a child shall lead them. You can still learn things from somebody who's younger than you. Somebody who ain't paying no bills because they have their own life and you have your own life. Y'all paths don't go the same every day. sometimes they could meet somebody else and they could come back and teach you something just like you've been teaching them. So I say that to say, because I was talking to a friend and they were talking about how they feel emotionally abused and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And it's like by their parents, and it's hard. And then you have things where like then we want to move away, you know, and then you want to move away and you don't want to. What is this hitting home for you as well? Try to hit home for a lot of us. But I'm just saying, then you feel as though, oh, I can't be myself where I am around my family. I have to move to be myself because they're not going to hear me out about things that they, not saying they were wrong about all their life, but that's just not where the country is now. That's not where life is now. The way they were doing it wasn't always right. You know, it didn't always work for everybody.
Right.
So, you know, I just want to talk and touch on that topic about progression in family. How do you feel it can evolve? How do you feel it is evolving? Or where do you feel as though there's a roadblock? Basically stuck in the past because of things like we talk about all the time. Tulsa, that black community, things like that, when black people were killed like that, a lot of that generational knowledge stopped. So then they live in that fear and they don't have that generational knowledge that could have been passed down.
I'm gonna let you go first because I'm gonna go on a tangent about this one. We always talk about this topic.
We sure do.
We all might. But you said roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like there's a roadblock. I mean, I know you see like on social media platforms or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were talking about when I was this age, I had to do this and wash the dishes, and I had to walk to school, and I didn't get to ride the bus or whatever because there wasn't no bus for us to ride. Like all of that, I feel like is a roadblock for them, not necessarily for us, because we can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
It's over and done with at this point because I'm here now. So, I mean, well, we needed the parents to get us here, right? It's not like I just popped up one day. I mean, well, you know what I'm trying to say. I might have just popped up one day. Maybe, I don't know. That's not what we're talking about, though. But I feel like that's a roadblock for them because they don't want to. I don't want to say they don't want to, but they're not all. Some are not. I guess I'm gonna say want to. They're not willing to open up and be open-minded and listen, like, cause
that's okay.
It's okay. Hold on, let me
get that tongue together.
We're gonna try this again. So, I feel like the parents. I'm gonna try to speak a little slower. That's all right. The parents, they're not willing to listen and be open-minded, but it's not necessarily their kids that are like making it difficult. Like it's not like they're just like, okay, well, whatever. I mean, that's kind of what it seems like because they're trying to compare the two lifestyles, but it doesn't work because we're not there anymore.
That's right. So
they stuck. They are stuck. They're stuck. And like with times moving forward now, like we got iPhones and whatever, all of this technology.
Come on now, that tiredness is kicking in, girl.
Look, I'm trying. Okay, I'm trying to keep up. But
go ahead.
I know like from experience, my stepmom and my dad. Okay, I'm gonna just say my stepmom because she be talking about
when I was 7 in second grade, I was washing dishes, and you don't wash the.
I was like, first of all, I work.
That's right.
I'm in school. I'm already doing two big things that you are not doing.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not like trying to throw shade.
You're not throwing no shade. You're just being honest.
No, I'm throwing shade.
It's shade,
but
full coverage.
Full coverage. Thank you. She my coverage. But I'm doing big things that you were not doing.
Yeah.
Like maybe you worked and you went to school at the same time, but I was in school and working two jobs. I mean, I'm still in school, but this was what, a year ago?
Yeah.
And she want to be mad at me because I'm tired when I get off of work and I don't want to wash the dishes. My two little sisters, my youngest sister should be washing dishes now. Well, I don't even know she is, but anyway, I'll figure that out when I get home. I'll see. But my little sister, she can wash dishes. So why can't she wash the dishes on the days that I have to work? Because I don't work every single day, all day. But she's stuck in this. Well, when I was younger, when I was 7, when I was 8, when I was 9, I was doing this, and this. I was like, good for you. Congratulations. That doesn't have anything to do with me.
That's right.
Like, if you want me to do something, you can ask me to do it.
That's right.
Like, I'm not just going to give you a hard time just because I can. I can, but that doesn't mean I'm going to.
Amen.
So don't be so stuck. Well, I guess to the parents, not to you, but to the parents. Don't be so stuck. Like, be open-minded. Like, things are not the same. So you have to move forward with us.
That's right.
Because if we move in and you still
Stuck
back
in
in
the same
17,
area.
20, no, but we can't progress without our parents,
That's
if that
right.
makes sense. I mean, we can, but you know, we still need that support,
That's
that
right.
motivation, like, from home.
That's right. And that brings us back to the country as well. We as individuals can progress, but it's like until we all progress together, our country really won't move
Right,
forward. You see what I'm saying?
exactly.
Beyonce can progress, but that's
But that
helping
don't help
Beyonce
me.
and her circle. You know
That
what I'm
doesn't help
saying?
me at all.
Reggie can progress, but that's helping Reggie and his circle. And then what about the rest of the country? Then you have that thing where it's like, oh, Patti LaBelle is rich, and Bill Gates is rich, and this person is
And
rich.
Oprah.
And it's like, but we still have homeless people. We still have people who aren't being fed in
Right.
this world, but they have billions of dollars. It's because they have personally progressed, but the country as a whole has not. That's not throwing any shade to the celebrities or people who have money, but that's just an example of how personal people can progress. But if we don't progress together, you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's just like with family life. We have to progress together.
Well, first of all, I do agree with a lot of what you said. I feel like that was actually a really good tangent.
I mean, it took a while, but you know, we back.
This is actually a topic I ended up talking to you, Reggie, a lot about it, and I ended up talking with myself and Kristen. We've definitely talked about it with you and your at-home family life. I will say so far I have been blessed to not necessarily have like this toxic family dynamic. Like, some of my family members, they got their own little issues. I mean, we're working through it as best as we can. Like, I've had some issues with my grandma, some of her self-hatred in terms of like how her appearance looked, not necessarily like skin color, but like how she looked and felt about herself. She kind of rubbed that off onto me, and that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But getting into it, this progressive and toxic dynamic, and I can only speak on what I know.
Amen.
In the Black community, I feel as though we still hold onto a lot of toxic traditions that we have learned, developed through, and continue to use through generations.
Amen.
Like you said, how in the Black family, a man is supposed to be like this and a woman's supposed to be like that, and this, that, and the third, and all that other stuff. I feel like all of that should be thrown in the trash.
Lucia.
The fact that in our generation, now it's just like you have men not really being held accountable for anything.
Ooh.
And most specifically in the Black community, like, they are just seen as like, oh, they can do as they please, come and go, this, that, and the third, starting up all these families and not really,
Taking care of them.
Yeah, not taking care of them and not being held accountable for anything. And it just kind of continues on. Because you constantly hear guys about like, oh, I'm going to be a better man than my father ever was. And then get this girl pregnant and be like, oh, I'm not ready to take care of that, and skedaddle.
Oops.
But that's not to also say like I'm just sit here and bash men, because I will say
right.
women are a part of that toxic dynamic too. You know, I see plenty of young Black single mothers
Amen.
who get into these situations with somebody that's not willing to help them, and
Yeah.
that's very sad and unfortunate, but they take that anger out on them.
Yeah.
Or like, not necessarily take the anger out, but they'll just perpetuate something that they themselves didn't break.
Yeah.
You know, with single Black mothers and their young Black sons. It's like this emotional incest almost.
Yeah.
Because there isn't a man in the house, they'll have him take over that man role and treat him like a king, this, that, and the third, and then treat their daughters like crap.
Jesus.
Which I am not for whatsoever. You know, you pamper and want to treat your son like a king till he's about 45 and you 90 in the kitchen making sandwiches, but you kicked your daughter out at 18 and wonder why she doesn't talk to you.
He needs some milk.
Come on, touch on it. Touch on it.
Yep.
But then also Black mothers just kind of like, I feel like they also had this like stress on them because most of the time they are put in the situation of raising these children by themselves.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's much rather, I don't want to hear anything. I got this, that, and the third. And I feel like that's where that stemmed from. And that is a whole nother toxic situation in itself, and kind of leads into my next point of, we don't necessarily know everything.
That's right.
But we do know one thing for sure, though. The old way of doing it wasn't always right. Like, an example, we talk about how your grandmother was like, oh, these disposable diapers, it's just causing parents to be lazy.
Mm-hmm.
No. I don't want to get up 15 times out of the night to change my kid because they decided, well, not they decided, but they
had to poop 15 times.
They had to poop 15 times in every 15 minutes, especially a new young baby, a newborn. They're like pooping and peeing every 15 minutes. I'm not getting up to do 30 loads of laundry for that.
I know.
You know, parents
Wasting water and laundry detergent.
Exactly, wasting all that damn energy. It's like for no reason. But like that just kind of goes into my point. Like people always see it as like, oh, this new generation is doing this, that, and the third, and y'all are doing it wrong. It's like, but your way wasn't right.
That's right.
And that's what I hear a lot from my family. They're like, oh, your new generation, they don't know how to talk to people and this, that, and the third. And look at you, you and your sisters, y'all are so antisocial. I don't always have to talk to you. Maybe I don't want to talk to you. You not just take it as
how about that?
Or like y'all just sit on y'all phones all the time.
First of all,
to keep me entertained.
That's right.
I could be doing work from my phone because the way this technology is, I could be doing a job application.
Come on now.
I could be doing a job application.
Come on now.
I could be doing schoolwork. I could be learning something.
That's right.
Because there's so many things to read on the internet. Not that you should believe everything that you read on the
Most
internet.
Definitely not.
I mean, I'm sure we all know that.
Yeah,
but
we know that.
There's so many things that I could be doing, but you just think I'm sitting here turning my brain into mush. I could be reading, doing whatever else. And I'm sorry, I completely interrupted you again.
That's okay.
But I want to go back to what you said about, what did you say? About how what we're doing is wrong. It might not be wrong per se. It's just, I want to call it different. Because if it was right and it worked for them back in the day, then that's fine. Like, we're not going to call it wrong because it worked for you.
It got them this far.
It got the job done. It got you this far. So now we as in our generation are tweaking things and making it work for us. So you can't, I feel like, not can't, but you shouldn't call it wrong. That's because if it's working and it's getting the job done, why do you think it's wrong?
That's right.
Yeah,
so continue, Deja.
Sorry. It's just people are very much stuck in their old mindset, and that just is kind of what this whole conversation about is progression. America, families, like I said, most specific, I can only speak on experience I know, and most specifically Black families in my experience, are very stuck in their ways. They don't want to progress in society, and they don't want to adapt to everything in the ever-changing way of society. Now, society is very technologically advanced. We are progressing every day. We are finding new ways to do things. That's not to say our way is better. It's just a more easier way to get things done rather than to go all these hardships. I hate when people, and this is the issue I got. Maybe this is a little tangent.
Come on.
This is just the issue I have, and I've just noticed with social media.
I might add to this.
I can only talk about my experience and what I know.
Come on. But
I hate the fact that some of my members in the Black community have this obsession with struggle. Everybody is so much about, I'm down bad, wait till I come up, this, that, and the third. I can't wait for the come up, we out the trenches, this, that, and the third. Like, I hate that. Yeah. Why do we always have to struggle? And I feel like that's just going on with what older generations saying. Like, we didn't have it easy like this, and we had to do this to get like that. Yeah, you didn't have it like that, but then you also created measures for you to be able to succeed in the easier way and then shut it off with, like, student debt. A point one of you brought up earlier. They were able to get their college degrees and their doctorates for like what, a couple $100, maybe $1,000 at the most. Nowadays, the student loan debt in America is over $1 trillion or something like that. Like, come on now, we don't all have to struggle. We're all trying to get to the same place.
That's different than working for what you get, though. Because different. If you got it and you worked for it, that's something different than just being like, oh, I struggled and you got to struggle too because I struggled and we both Black.
No, some people actually do have that mindset of, I struggled to get it, so therefore you should also have to struggle to get it. And that's what I don't like. That's something most prominently I see in the Black community, and sometimes it don't even got to do with being Black. They just want to struggle. Like, people will talk about, I can't stand trust fund babies. That was a conversation you discussed a few weeks ago. I don't have a problem with trust fund babies. You want to know why? Because a lot of people, most specifically in the white community, because they are the main ones that have benefited from generational wealth, and you have brought up Bill Gates and Patti LaBelle and all this, that, and the third. We have a lot of Black millionaires.
That's right.
We don't have a lot of Black people who are wealthy in terms of generational wealth. Yeah. So this whole mindset of, I have to get out of the mud and be in the trenches that have this come up, I feel like is wrong, because we should be making strides that have generational wealth. Come on now. That way we can set our families up in the future to not being put in a predicament of not being able to afford things. That's right. Because, why do that? They've been doing it for centuries. That's right. I'm sure y'all seen that TikTok of the guy going around asking people like, what did you do to get this car? And they're driving around these nice, shiny cars, brand new, fresh off the lot. And the Black lady I saw, he interviewed, she had like 3 different jobs. She was like, I'm a professor. I do this, that, and the third. Other people were like, I just married. Yeah. Oh, I got divorced. Exactly. It's not even just, I got this wealth because I'm a doctor or because I'm a lawyer or because I'm some high up politician. It's, oh, I got married. Oh, my family's rich. That kind of thing. That's just
Must be
my
nice.
It must be nice. But that's just my issue with it. And how it just ties all together is like, we as Americans, we as people, we as most specifically Black people in our own experiences, we need to make progressions. We need to make strides to progress in society. So first of all, we need to throw all those toxic ass mindsets out of the Black family. That whole thing of men do this and women do that, get that out. Any grievances you have towards the LGBT community and anything else, throw that out too, because that's just toxic right there. I don't understand why what a man does behind closed doors with another man really bothers you that much. How I see it.
Right, that's not your business. That don't got
Exactly.
nothing to do with you.
And
Mind the
people
business that pays you.
People be like, oh, I don't care this, that, and the third. Obviously, because you all hot and bothered by the gays. Like,
They
bother
minding
you
their
that
business.
much. Exactly.
They over here worried about why you worried about them. You should
Exactly.
be worried about yourself.
Come on, because yourself ain't even
They over
together.
here living in
Right.
your head
You're not even
rent-free.
put together. And you over here worrying about somebody else.
Exactly. They over here living in your head rent free. Like, if you really weren't bothered about it, you wouldn't think about it.
Right.
But that's another mindset that needs to go. That whole struggle mindset needs to go out the door. America as a whole has to get this whole mindset of the way we were doing things is right. We need to throw away this mindset of, well, white is right and you're supposed to be Christian and this is the way God would do it and I have this image. You got to throw that out. We need to understand that America, even though the terminology might be wrong for it, because I know some people don't like the term melting pot, but I'm going to use it for lack of a better term. We are a melting pot. We need to accept everybody and their differences. You might praise Jesus today. I might praise Allah or something like that. Not that I do. I'm more of a spiritual person. But we all have our different beliefs. But at the end of the day, like I said, we all praise the same God and have the same message at the end of the day. So we just need to be able to accept each other's differences. I hope with Joe and Kamala being in office, I said her name right.
Yes, you did.
I finally said it right. I hope with them being in office, they are able to bring this country back together because the last 4 years that man has tried his hardest to divide us. And
it worked.
It worked. He
So
really
kudos
brought
to
the
him because he
ugliness.
got his point across. He came and did what he wanted to do.
Caused
So
chaos.
I guess good for him because that's what he came to do and he did it.
Unfortunately.
He
It's
came-
not the right thing to do.
Because his slogan was, and I want people to understand this, his slogan was "Make America Great Again."
When was America
Again.
ever great?
And here's the thing, when he said,
wasn't.
and here's the thing, he didn't. When yeah, exactly, for his
ahead.
personal and for people who he thought he was making it great for. But it's just like, sir, anytime you want to take something back to the old way, you're not thinking about making it great for the people who are currently here
Or the
And-
people that are coming.
or the people who are
newer
coming.
generations.
That's right. So you trying to make it great again based off of standards of what you thought was great. It's wrong. It was wrong right there. So it's kind of like we have to be on a path of making America great, making our families great, making our lives great. Not great again, because every day is something new.
Yeah.
That this pandemic has changed our world. So now we can't make our lives great again because what was great in 2010 ain't gonna be great for 2021 or going forward. Because now we have a virus over here that's gonna make us have to change things. So now we have to find a new way to make money. We have to find a new way to do friend gatherings and family gatherings.
Yep.
We have to make our lives great. Period. Not again. Just we have to make it great. We have to make it better. We have to make it we have to make progress, not progress again. No, progress. Point blank.
Period.
Purr.
You
Purr.
gotta say it like Rolling Rain.
He said, "Oh, purr. My Cash App is open."
But that was my whole point. It's just like we have to make strides to make America great. Not again, because it wasn't great for all of us.
That's what I was going to say.
Like
that's
that's
exactly what I was going to say.
and that's a whole nother argument in itself because his hypocrisy. One thing that really just got me with his whole hypocrisy about making America great again was draining the swamp, as they like to call it, getting rid of all the immigrants. Like his mother wasn't an immigrant and his wife was an immigrant. But the moral of my point is we need to make strides to make America great. Not again, like you said, we need to make America great. We need to make it acceptable for all beings, and we need to make strides to be progressive in the future. And I think Joe, hopefully, fingers crossed, he does a really great job of actually being a president for all and bringing us together. If people decide to go against that, like they always say, if you don't like it here, go somewhere else. Y'all technically aren't even from here. You can go back to Europe with your ancestors. Because people be telling me go back to Africa. How am I go back? You realize that's a big ass continent, right? I ain't never been there before. I don't know what tribe I'm supposed to be from. Y'all kept better track of y'all cattle back in the slave days than you did my family members.
No, for real.
They really did.
For
Oop,
real.
and they can say, well, this cattle right here, you see the brine on it? Did you see the little thing on this booty?
Yeah.
That right there is Billy Joe's cow.
Exactly.
And that came from Billy Joe's grandfather that was actually, he has siblings over there at Kathy Joe's house.
Oh, yep.
But yet you can't even tell us where.
I can't even tell you what tribe or which country.
Africa
and
is so
extract
much
came from.
bigger than it is made out to be.
Oh, yeah.
I
And
feel like
it's
a
so
lot
much
of people
better
don't
than
know
what they
that.
make it out to be.
Yes, and a lot better. I feel
yes.
like a lot of people really don't know that because it goes back to the white people.
They have a
I'm
certain
trying to
image
tell you.
portrayed.
Yes, they want to make the black people, the people of color, also like smaller. Why are you trying to degrade us?
Yeah.
Like, what we do to you?
Yeah.
Well, that-
You're scared of what we know. We're scared of what we can do. You're scared of what we can learn. But why? Why? We can be equal. It's not like all. Okay, so look. All I'm saying, like right now in this very moment in time, is these white people really better be happy that black people don't want revenge.
Amen.
Aw, OMG, we're almost to the end of the conversation. Of course, we could go on for days, but all good things must come to an end. For now. Join me over on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Reginald E. Morton III. Share love, give love, spread love. Now, enjoy these last moments of the Reggie Segment podcast, only right here on YouTube.
We
Black
just want
people and
equality.
people of color.
Yeah.
Black people and
period.
people of color.
People of
They
color,
need to
period.
be happy. Well, not just white people as a whole, but you know, the ones. Y'all, them, they better really be happy that black people as a whole do not want revenge, because what we really want is equality, because there's no reason that we should be out here treated so badly. What was it, just a week ago? A 15-year-old was lynched.
Oh,
Is that
my
what that
gosh,
was?
Yes.
That
Oh,
there's no
Jesus.
reason, because why is this a thing, and who did it? Why are you so upset
A
with what
15-year-old.
black people can be? Why are you mad? We can share the knowledge, because knowledge is nothing if you don't share it.
That's right.
Because what you gonna do with all that knowledge by yourself? Because you're not
Nothing.
gonna go change nothing by yourself.
Nothing.
So share it with somebody who can do something with it.
That's right.
That's all I gotta say.
That brings up another point. Oh damn, Chris, you just still
Ooh,
you
child.
just get you give it
This
so many
podcast
ideas.
is juicy.
It is, but
It ain't my fault that I'm out here feeling loose. Gotta blame it on a goose. Gotta blame it on my juice, baby.
Oh,
But,
that's
like-
okay. Different one. Sorry.
the big thing you were talking about, we were bringing on the knowledge, and here's what I just chalked it up to with like how I see people interact in Frostburg, because we know Frostburg is very known for it is stereotyping and all
Amen.
that other stuff and its
It's known.
prejudices. But I feel like the reason white people, the ones, like you said, not the whole, but the ones,
That's
everybody
what we
pretty
gonna
much
call
knows
them.
what we're referring to when we say the ones.
If you don't look it up,
You ain't
It's
gotta
not
look
hard
it
to
up.
find.
You just gotta take a look outside.
go
It's
look
not
out the window.
all white people, because some you have white allies that are very like, I understand what my ancestors did, and I'm going to strive to do better to help you, because the fact of the matter is, what was done to you in society, whether you were black or Asian or Hispanic or whatever, was not right.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate those people, but you have other people that are just so set in that mindset, and it just kind of
Yep.
ties into everything. I feel as though white people have really tried their damnedest to insert themselves into history.
My God.
And they have tried to insert themselves in that knowledge. And that kind of brings up a point that I just think about every now and then. It lives rent free in my head. But I was watching this documentary once, and they were talking about like Aztecs and like all these different cultures. And it really bugs me, and you brought it up, and it just bugs me more, that whenever they talk about like, you know, our ancestors or ancient societies, like the Aztecs or ancient Africans and all that stuff, they're like, oh my God, like they were so technology advanced for their time, like how did they do it? They couldn't have done it. The fact that whenever they talk about the Egyptians or Egypt, they're like, they couldn't have built those pyramids by themselves. They weren't technology advanced for it. But then when they talk about white history, they're like, oh my God, like this was so advanced for its time. Like they had to have done this by themselves, this, that, and the third. And it's just like, why do we associate color with knowledge? Like they were just as knowledgeable as I would like to believe it. I'm not believing no damn aliens helped the Egyptians to build those pyramids. I feel as though they were probably very technological for their time. Same thing with the Aztecs. You can build things and not have it be because I'm white, you automatically assume that my society was smarter. Because if that was the case, those diseases that they brought over from Europe when they first colonized over here, they wouldn't have been brought over here. There would have been vaccines for them or something to help prevent it during that time. But that's just how I feel about it. But getting back to the main point, truth. I feel as though white people are very insecure in their place in society. And Dr. Omar, when he is spitting, he is spitting. When he's spitting some foolery, I just keep it moving. But he said this, that at a point in time, probably I think by 2040 they predicted that white people will be the minority. And whether that majority will be black people or Hispanic people, because right now it's kind of like head and head. We'll see how it gets there. But at some point in time, white people will be the minority. And I think that's what they're afraid of. That eventually at one point they will be the minority. So they have to try to have all these graphs and like insert themselves in history and be like, well, this happened and that happened and we did this and this, that, and the third. And it's just like, no, you just got to let history play out the way it did. Like, that's right. Why whitewash history and try to make something to fit your perspective, but you're getting rid of other people's culture and trying to have an erasure of history from what it actually happened. Amen. You know, we've seen it time and time again. Again, this is another point you brought up where you said like white knowledge. Time and time again, white people becoming millionaires. And I just brought it back to the Tulsa riots. Yeah. I think that's what they call it. Tulsa riot. Massacre.
Wasn't no riot. It was a massacre.
Massacre, because they tried to picture it as a riot. That's what the white people said. They were like, oh, no, they came at us and we were just defending ourselves. No, whole team, they went in there and they massacred those people. The fact that you have plenty of white people who are billionaires and generationally wealthy and were able to write all these books about how they themselves were able to be successful.
Come on and dip into my points.
But then you have black people that like are still striving to make that, and the little bit that they do have is still trying to be undermined and taken away from them. Yep. And I just don't think it's right. I don't think. So true. I think that I had my point and then I kind of lost it. But what I'm trying to say is just like we really need to get it together. We really need to progress. The fact that white people have been able to advance 100 times over. Like I said, my original point when people were like, oh, my kids got accepted into Stanford and Harvard and all these Ivy League schools is like, okay, what is that? Like the 10 millionth white kid to be accepted into that? But when you see people of color, whether they're black, Hispanic, or whatever. It's a hoop and a holler. Yeah, it's a hoop and a holler. It's just like, oh my gosh, like you actually did that. You were able to break through that barrier because, like I said, even though we have progressed somewhat, we still have not progressed enough past those barriers that white people have allowed us to progress through to be able to be as successful as we would like to be. We are still breaking through those barriers. And I hope that Kamala and Joe being in office really tries to help level that playing field between the races.
That's right.
And that's all I got to say.
Amen. Amen. You know what? That was good. That was something that, and we started on family. And then we worked our way onto simply just talking about the how generations have been stuck, you know. And I looked up the definition of stuck. And it says stuck means being trapped in something. Stuck is defined as to have poked or to have put something on something, usually with something sticky like glue. An example of stuck is to have poked someone with a stick. You know, and I guess you can look at it both ways. Stop trying to stick people, be stuck people, you know, as it said, I stuck you. Because that's how I feel. Sometimes it's like you're trying to pin us to a wall to put us where you want us to be. When in actual reality, we are all our individual snowflakes falling out the sky. Let me land where I'm going to land and stop trying to catch me and put me where you want me to go. Yeah. Okay? And
I don't want to be part of your snowman.
That's right.
Leave me on the ground.
That's right. Sometimes I need to be peed on. I need to be ran on by some tire tracks. But that's just here there. But you know what, you guys? I thank you so much for coming and talking about this issue of progression. I hope that somebody was blessed and somebody was helped who is listening to this. You know, we talked about 3 things. We talked about personal progression, we talked about country progression, and then we talked about generational/family progression. We just want you to walk away today and just know, accept people for who they are. You know, think about the needs of who is standing in front of you. Like we always like to say, no, you heard me, but did you listen? You heard me, but did you listen? So I encourage you on today just to listen to your neighbors, listen to those around you, okay? We thank Deja and we thank Kristen for coming today. Say your goodbyes to the people, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
I hope you learned something.
That's right.
I hope you listened with your ears.
That's right.
I hope you share your knowledge.
That's right, because knowledge ain't nothing. Just keeping it to yourself.
Exactly.
Well, you guys, we thank you so much for being here at the Reggie Segments podcast, Reggie and Friends. Have a great day, y'all. See you.